Gasgacinch? What's that? Welcome to Jimmy James Garage. I'm Jimmy. Well, in this episode, you're going to find out what Gasgacinch is about. So stick around as we find out about Gasgacinch. And that's Gasgacinch. Gasgacinch. So it says it's gasket sealer. Some other companies call it that. The one I used to use all the time when I was a mechanic had like a little girl on the thing, like floating through the air, and it was kind of a weird, it was all in white and had this little, it's saying they still make it. You can get it on your local Amazon. I saw it today. I went and bought this because I was out. I was like, what, my Gasgacinch? I always use Gasgacinch. But last time I used it, I was out. So I had to go pick some up at the local hardware or local parts store. And then what we're going to do today with this Gasgacinch, I'm going to show you how to use it. It's kind of funny because it also says, and belt dressing. I don't think it's the belt that goes on your 501s. But yeah, so it's for belt dressing also. Interesting. So Gasgacinch, use it a ton here in the Jimmy James Garage. I use it all the time, and I'm getting ready to use it right now. So I'm going to run through a scenario. We're going to do a fuel pump today here on Christian's 63 Chevy truck. And if you haven't joined us before, I'm Jim. This is my garage. Welcome aboard. Do the like and subscribe thing if you like what you see. I do have a lot of dedicated follow and subscribers. And hey, thanks for joining me today. We're going to talk about the fuel pump. So on the fuel pump, of course, first thing you got to do is you got to clean it. Got to get it off, got to clean it out. And I'm telling you right here, right now, that these carbide snap-on, and I'm not sponsored by them. I paid a lot of money for these things. These gasket scrapers, holy smokes, did they work. I mean, like butter. Whoop. I think with aluminum, you better be careful because it probably take the aluminum off. It really worked. It had the bigger one and then a smaller one. So my buddy Mike, if you're out there right now watching, you sent me a picture of that, said it was a game changer. And since I've known you since we went to college together for that General Motors plaque that we have on the wall there, you and I got, you said it's a game changer and a must have. So I blindly called up the Snap-on guy and said, hey, I need to get some of these. He comes up our hill. We've got a mechanic up the road here. And I said, I need to get some. Well, he goes, oh boy, they're hard to get. I only have the small one. I'll have to order you the big one. So he got them for me. He told me, man, there's something else. You haven't used them. I said, no, my buddy Mike told me about them. So again, scraper. They are amazing. They're a lot better than the old standbys, you know, the old putty knife scrapers, you know. These are fine, but they're not this. Okay, get the block cleaned up. Let me take you a little tour of that, what I've done. So I got it all cleaned up. Let me flip you around here. So we have this thing. Ooh, it's looking spiffy. You probably haven't seen it since I put the valve covers. They're just laying on there right now. But it's all painted up. And I got the fuel pump area all nice and clean, as you can see. I'm going to do some scraping because there's a little bit of overspray, even though I had paper in there. And I did buy some more low gloss black. So I'm going to touch some of that up. So go ahead in the comments and tell me, hey, you got a little bit of overspray. You won't notice it when I'm done with this. But so back to the fuel pump. What we are going to do is we are going to put this back on my stand here. What we're going to do with this fuel pump, I'm going to show you how to put it on. There's a couple tricks. This small block Chevrolet, 283 is what this is. A 1963 283. And what Chris and his son Christian are trying to do is they're trying to do some preventative maintenance on this motor. And they don't want, he's a young kid, they don't want him stranded. So we're going to put a starter on it, we're going to put a fuel pump on it, new fuel lines, getting the carburetor rebuilt. Here's a carburetor guy, he knows it's a whiz at it. Not that they're that hard. You've seen on my channel me rebuild them before. He's really good, had the kit. That thing's off with him, going to get it all taken care of. It's what he does. He owns a carburetor shop. He's going to get that rebuilt for us. And I'm going to put fuel lines in it, starter, water pump, just the basic stuff that goes out. So, you know, he wants to spend his money in a certain place. I think getting it running good is a great idea. Back to the fuel pump. Here's what we got here on this fuel pump. first I did is I pulled the other one out, made sure it all matched up. The other one worked fine, I'm sure. But we got this Carter, all these lined up just right. And oh, I knew I forgot to tell you guys something. You want to know? I know you want to know. What was I listening to on the radio? Sammy Hagar, Heavy Metal. Have you ever listened to that one? It's pretty good. So I had to pause it, because of the whole rights thing. But yeah, I was cranking Sammy here. In fact, as I pause this thing, I go back over and I crank it as I do some of the work. And then I come back to you guys. But Sammy Hagar, Heavy Metal. It's one of my favorites. All right, back to the fuel pump. So on this fuel pump here, we have some ends. We're going to have to make sure these ends match up to this. And then what you do with them, we're going to get it all lined up so it matches up. And we'll see if this is the same size, which it is for that one, like so. We're going to screw that in there, get these bibs on here. We got another one to pull off over there. We get these bibs and you just screw them in. That's it. Wait a minute, you're smarter than that. That's not it. I'm going to show you a little trick. Maybe a trick you haven't seen. I've talked about it before on my channel. So I'm going to show you another little trick. Okay. Love Her Madly by the Doors. That's what was cranking. So I use a Spotify and it does random. But that one was on. Anyways, let's get back to what we're talking about, the subject of a fuel pump. I'm going to show you a couple things here. I put a little green dot here now so it's easy to spot, and they're almost always this way, and it says in. So that's where the fuel is going to go in. It's going to pump and it's going to go out. So from the gas tank to the carburetor, it's right here. It says in. Pretty hard to miss. So make sure you do that right. That is a problem. People will hook them up wrong. Pay attention when you're pulling apart, because if it's working, and if it's worked in the past, it'll say that, okay? So that's one thing you want to do. Oh, we had a little thunder. That's kind of cool. Maybe we'll get some rain. Who knows? All right. So now what we're going to do, and I've showed you this before, so stick around if you know it. If you don't know it, hey, that's all great too. But let me show you. Pipe thread, right? Pipe thread, right? Wrong. Do not use pipe thread on this. This is for water. The blue and white is the water one. They make one that's yellow and black. Okay, there you go. Yellow and black. We're going to put it on here because this is fuel. This is made for gasoline. It says gasoline right on it. That's what you want to use on this. To be honest with you, the last one didn't have any pipe thread on it. It's sealed up. It's sealed up just fine. So what you're going to do is, when you put this on there, you are going to thread it on like so. Let me get one of these here real quick. So you pull the tape out like so, okay? Now remember, that thing's going to screw in like this, right? Righty-tighty, clockwise. So which way do you want to put it on there? You want to go the opposite with it. Because remember, when it tears off, how it tears, you don't want it to tear and then catch. So we're going to go this way with it. Because it's the tail. Follow me? So put the part in your right hand, righty-tighty. All right, that's a pro tip. And then you're going to turn it. We're going to do pretty tight threads. We're just going to do a 1/over on it. And then you're just going to tear it like so. Now you can actually get a razor blade out if you want a little, a little cleaner cut, but I don't ever use it. You don't use it. Okay, now if you look real close here, let me see if you can see that real close. See how the threads are kind of, and I got a little bit in the hole here. So you want to make sure that's not in there. It's going to get in your fuel system. We don't want that. So you kind of cut that back and use your fingernail like so. And then what I do, so it's in the threads, I take my thumbnail and I run it in the threads and I just screw it on down like this. Like hold it like that. Threads and then fingers on that. And then you're just going to turn it like so. And I'll show you what it turns out like. Okay, so we get it all the way to the end of the threads. It's not going to go all the way to the thread, but I go all the way to the end. Like that. And then see we have a little overhang on it. You can take a little screwdriver and clean up the end of it. I don't know if I have a little screwdriver on here. Let me see. Oh, I do have a gasket scraper though. A little cut like a knife. So you take a little gasket scraper in there and we're going to cut this end off just like so. So that's going to take care of that. And we don't want that floating around in our fuel system. You dig? You follow me? So raise your hand if you're following me. So that's how you do that. Alrighty, and then what we do is got the hole right, and then we just thread it in like so. Let me get it here like that, and then we tighten it up. And then you crank it down. Don't be monkey and gorilla in it, just nice and tight, firm. There might be a torque spec on it. I don't know what it is. Look it up. Put a wrench on it, get it nice and tight, and then it'll look like so. Use the yellow stuff. All right, I'm going to keep working. Follow along with me. It'll be fun. All righty. Eruption by Eddie frickin' Van Halen. That's what I paused. Okay, so here we go. Remember also in my videos, you'll see little blurbs, little Easter eggs. Keep looking out for those. Sometimes there's quick little messages in there that could benefit you. Seriously, you never know. So, keep looking at them. So, you might have to hit pause. You might see them flash by. Little Easter egg. You never know what's up on an Easter egg. Okay, back to the fuel pump. So on this fuel pump, as you can see, I got the lines ready, all hooked up. The rubber lines will have to go in there. Ones are there. I think we're going to replace them. So get the size appropriate, for what you got. Pretty self-explanatory. Take what you got down to the parts store and say, I want this. And they're going to go, what year is it? Is it two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive? How many miles I have on it? What year did you buy it? Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, we're ready to go. We're going to bolt this on. But first, and best part about it is gasket cinch. I am going to show you. You're finally going to see what gasket cinch is all about. I know you've been waiting about the gasket cinch. Did I mention gasket cinch? Hey, I'm not sponsored by Gasgacinch, Cinch, but man, this stuff it's pretty good. It's really good. It's still on eruption. I didn't pause it because all I do is move the camera so you can see better. All right, gasket cinch. Remember that stuff you used to sniff? That's what it basically is. It's just a contact cement glue. And the directions say you need to wait about 5 minutes. It comes out with this little, like a little ball of something on the end of it. And a little needle that holds from the cap. And what you're going to do is, you're just going to coat one side of it like so. Don't go crazy. A little goes a long ways. All right. And then, once you get it all coated, we are going to let it sit. They say let it sit about 5 minutes. So there we go. So in 5 minutes, you're going to see what we do with that. A little pro tip here. Pro tip. This stuff, you don't want it on the edge of the threads because it makes it difficult to get the cap back off. So don't be a big sloppy pig when you're doing it, and make sure you're real careful with it because it's just a tin can and then it dries out pretty quickly. So what you're going to do with this is after you get it like this, go if you're a bride and go get her Ziploc bags, put in a Ziploc bag. You'll thank me because this stuff's kind of expensive. I don't know, it's like $10 or $12. It's not cheap. So that's what we're going to do with that. We're going to let it sit about 5 minutes, and then I will be back to show you what we're going to do with it after we coated it. It's just sitting there like this, see? Coated. Not coated on that side, just coated on the one side. Okay. Moment of truth. Never turned the radio back on because I was doing the things. And it was only 5 minutes, so got to stick with me on that. Here we go. Been 5 minutes. I put it on my handy timer on my watch. Now we're going to slide it onto the fuel pump. Not this way, but come on now. And you want it to line up perfectly with these holes. Like so. See, I did it wrong. Like this. Line up perfectly with these holes. And then set them in there like so. And now we get a little push on there. Tappy, tappy, tappy. All the way around. So it's nice and happy. Okay, what do you think of that? Ha ha! Not going to drop the gasket because you got gasket cinch. That's what it's for. Okay, we can coat the other side if you want to. Some people do, some people don't. I don't. I don't. I use it to glue these stuff on, like water pumps, fuel pumps. You're not trying to get the bolt and the gasket and all that. Make your life simple. It doesn't leak. It works really good. Edelbrock makes this, but it's the same exact can as the other one. It has the same little brush and it's identical. I think they just make it for them. So it's made in the USA. Go USA. It has directions on the back. So now I'm going to show you some more tricks about this water pump. But if you've been waiting around for Gasgacinch, there you go. That's what Gasgacinch is for. Right there. Gasgacinch. Get you some. Fun, fun, fun by the Beach Boys. And we had another Sammy Hagar song. So that's kind of what I was listening to in here. I'm waiting for a cameraman or camerawoman to come help me. But real quick, there's Willie Bob. That's my Jeep we're working on. Been in the extended family as long as I can remember. We will get back to that, but we got to get Christian's truck done. He's a senior in high school and he's itching to get it done. So Willie Bob had to kind of wait, but there's Willie Bob, the small block, 53. Willie. And the other thing we're working on, we're going to do a little more work to it tomorrow, but we have the drink truck. It's right here. That's what I wanted to show you. I had my son Ryder at Flawless Fabrication. He made this cool little awning for it and this piece right here. I don't know if you can see that here in the dark, but we're going to put the taps right here. The taps are here. So it's going to have 4 taps there. It's going to have the chalkboarding, right? Congratulations, for wedding, bar mitzvah, whatever they got. And they're going to paint, the door is going to be painted on Sunday. And it's going to say Cattle Truck Mobile Mart. So it's all fixed up. I've been working. Let me show you on the inside of it. I've been doing the door, the seat. I made it look like a regular old, is that cool or what? I got a few more ties to do in there. But yeah, I had the old horse blanket. Had to have the blanket. We're going to put a gun rack in it. Yeah, that's it. That is the cattle truck with the awning already going, and it flips over as we drive away. So, just a quick little share of what we got going here in the Jimmy James garage. But we're going to get right back. Oh, I don't know if a lot of people have seen that either. That's a Pontiac Safari. Have you ever seen a Nomad? Well, it's a Nomad made by Pontiac, made in the Fisher plant, run the same platform as the Nomad. It's a really clean, rust-free car. It has a little bit of surface from where they stripped it, but it's not rusted at all. Solid floor, solid interior. Just a little taste while we're waiting to finish this up. But let me get back to the issue at hand. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we are going to get your fuel pump ready. Sit right there on the intake. You got the bolts right there in there where they're going to go back into it. And this little bolt right here. That little bolt is key. This one right here. Right there. That's it. We're going to pull that one out. I've already loosened it up, and let me show you how we do it. It's going to be pretty cool. Okay, I got my favorite camera girl, and AC/DC Thunder. Dun, 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 dun. If you're following along. All right. Get yourself a set of needle nose pliers or duckbill pliers. I like these duckbills. I have no idea where I got them. I've had them forever and ever. I probably bought a car and it was in there, so who knows. But I really like these. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you a few things. Get your bolts ready. Have those handy. This little bolt right here I was talking about. You pull that one out. Pull this bolt out like so. Now I'm going to show you one trick you can do, and there's a couple tricks you can do. But that bolt hole goes into the rod. And if you come over here, I don't know if you can film down in that little hole down in there. There's a rod in there. And that rod slides up. Not towards you, but up towards the center of the cam. Yep, that's the rod right there. So what the object is we're going to put these pliers on there gently. Don't be cranking on them. Gently on it, grab it, and slide it up. But then when you let down, it falls back down. And what it's going to do is, if you look at this fuel pump, it actually runs right here on the fuel pump. And it pushes on it like that. So we want to slide it up. This is going to go in behind the rod and then just let it go and you're going to bolt it up. Pretty simple, right? Let me show you the trick though to keep it from sliding back down. You can do one of a couple things. I do this. You can get a longer bolt and you can screw the longer bolt in there and then hold it, but pull that bolt out, the longer bolts, because it won't work, otherwise it'll screw it all up. you don't need to do that. Just pull that bolt out. And actually, most time I don't even need to do that. Most time I can just get my thing up there and slide it in there and flop it in. But I'll show you an easy way. Get a screwdriver. Get your pliers. Get your fuel pump. Get it kind of close here so it's easy to grab. Okay? And here's what we're going to do. Get the bolts all lined up. And you just grab your little, hope this comes out good on camera. But you just slide it on up like so. You can take your screwdriver and you kind of hold it up there. Let me try again. Slide it up. Get your finger in there. It's up. Okay, now take your screwdriver. You can just hold it. I can hold it all day like that. Maybe not all day. And then I just take the fuel pump like so, and I just drop it in here like that. And now I can let go. But then what I have to do, I can let it go because it's right on there. It's not going anywhere. I have to grab the bolt, which I left behind me, right here. And then you put your bolts back in. And ta-da! Take your last bolt, this bolt here, and we're going to throw it back in there, but you're going to put a little silicone on it. A little silicone will silicone that up, and that won't leak. All right, fuel pump is in. What do you think of that? Pretty good, huh? That's how it's done. All right, well, gasket cinch. What did I do with that gasket cinch? Oh, hold on. It's over here. Gasket cinch. That's what we talked about today. We talked about tape for the threads. We talked about how to put the fuel pump in. If you have any questions right now, just raise your hand and I can go ahead and answer those questions. Apparently nobody's raising their hand. So that's how it goes in. It looks great. It's tightened up nice. I gotta put the bolt in for the silicone to keep that from leaking. And that fuel pump's gonna work great. Put the fuel lines on, run it up the carburetor. It's gonna be freaking awesome. Again, just get your finger underneath there, hold it with that screwdriver, drop it in, put the bolt in. Make sure you have all the bolts. I was kind of laying on them. I didn't do a spectacular job of setting it up. And as I talked about earlier, I don't remember if you said about the Easter eggs, but remember there's Easter eggs out there. You never know what pops up. Just keep a lookout for them. And appreciate everybody joining me on the channel and seeing what we do here in the Jimmy James garage. But right now, my hands are dirty. Time for me to go wash them up. Well, here at Jimmy James Garage, we have this Knuckle Scrub Soap. So let me show it to you. Comes in this real nice little fancy red rag with the little logo of Jimmy James Garage, Knuckle Scrub Soap. And what is special about it? Well, it's for mechanics. It's for guys that get dirty out in the field, out in the garage, out in the shop, things like that. But that's not what's special about it. What's special about this is it's made with pure beef tallow and pumice. So it has beef tallow and pumice. So you say, so what's that? Well, that's not some harsh chemical, like some of the other orange things and the other kinds. This is all natural, has grass-fed beef tallow and pumice. It scrubs really good and it moisturizes your hands. Your hands don't get all cracked. You use that high chemical stuff all the time and it cracks your hands and it makes them stiff and just really doesn't do you any favors. That's what separates us from other soaps. Works good for like your feet, exfoliating, things like that. Don't let your bride know. She'll be stealing it from you. So Jimmy James Garage, Knuckle Scrub Soap. It's a winner. It really is. It's a cut above. So if you'd like to get yourself some of this Jimmy James Knuckle Scrub Soap and one of these cool towels that's wrapped in, all you have to do is go to our Shopify channel. It's down in the description, things like that. And thanks for tuning in. This has been a great video. Gasket cinch is awesome. Use it when you can. It really helps you put the parts together correctly and gaskets aren't slipping and leaking. And When you get your hands all greasy, guess what? Get yourself some knuckle scrub and your hands won't be all cracked. So again, we'll see you at the next video. You know, right here.